Shalom everyone, my name is Loria and I was 11 years old now and I'm from Bangkok. Today I will tell you about a female character in the Bible who has extraordinary integrity as a child of God. Wow, who is she? Esther. I titled Esther Saw and Believed Salvation of Her People. Taken from the book of Esther, chapter 1 until chapter 10. The Persian Empire was a glorious empire, filled with wealth, splendor, and majesty. The Persia has conquered the world. They invaded Israel and took many of God's people as exiles to Persia. So there were many Jews living there. The king of Persia was Ahasuerus. At one time, he hosted a banquet that lasted a whole week. People eat the best food, drink the most expensive wines, and enjoy all the entertainment they want. In the middle of the feast, the king asked his beautiful wife, Vashti, to come before the people. But Vashti refused the king's order. When the king heard this, he was very angry because Vashti was not an example of a good wife. Finally, the king pulled out the crown and threw her out of the kingdom. The king is sad because he doesn't have a queen anymore. The king's advisors suggested making a contest to select a queen to replace the Vashti. In the competition, take part in Esther, who was a beautiful girl, Mordecai's niece, and Jewish nationality. Mordecai asked Esther to keep her nationality a secret. After going through a lot of difficult process in the contest, Esther won the king's heart and was chosen as the queen in place of Vashti. Was an official of the king named Haman. He was a bad man who hated the Jews. One day, he came before the king and presented a plan that made it sound like he was protecting the kingdom from potential enemies, but in reality, it would exterminate all the Jews and all the Persian Empire. Mordecai, Esther's uncle, heard about the terrible new law and was devastated. He and all the Jews and all the land tore their clothes, put ashes in their heads, and went to the morn. Mordecai remembered Esther. He believed Esther can help them. At first, Esther was afraid because no one was allowed to appear before the king's invitation, or they would surely be put to death. Then Esther wisely asked Mordecai to command all the Jews to pray and fast for her behalf. This is a great decision. Pray and fast, not eat or drink for 3 days. This is not easy. But Esther has high faith in praying and fasting. Put on her best royal clothes and went and stood in the inner courts of the king's palace. When the king saw Esther, he found affection in her eyes, and he extended the scepter to her. This was a sign that the king allowed Esther to approach to his throne. What is it, Queen Esther? What's your request? I'll give you anything, even half of my kingdom, said the king. Esther's request was simple. She wanted to dine with Haman, the enemy of the Jews, and the king. Twice, Esther held the banquet for the king and Haman. Finally, on the second night, she revealed her Jewish identity to the king. And when the king heard this, he was furious. He stormed into the place garden. When the king came back, he found Haman was fallen on the sofa where Queen Esther was sitting, and his anger thought Haman was attacking the queen. In the end, Haman was killed by hanging in the gallows that he had built to hang Mordecai. It's really amazing how God helped the Jewish people through Esther. God also calls us to as Esthers in this day and age. Praying for the salvation of souls for our church and nation, God who uses Esther, the same God will use us Sunday school children at GBI Tabga Batam. Jesus bless you. Bye.